Next, we will study chapter 14. Exodus chapter 14. God commanded. Moses said, "Tell the Israelites to turn back. Alas, we were supposed to march straight forward toward the land of Canaan. But why did they turn around halfway? And even turn back to camp by the sea. They had already traveled some distance. Yet they still turned back to camp by the sea. Why did God do this? Because God deliberately did this, so that Pharaoh would know. Because God did this. God said, when you camp like this, Pharaoh will surely say, the Israelites are lost in this place. The wilderness has trapped them. In other words, God wanted Pharaoh to think the Israelites were lost. We cannot reach the land of Canaan. Perhaps the Israelites are lost, trapped, so that Pharaoh would be lured into attacking the Israelites. Then God said, I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue you. Thus I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army. Then the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. Isn't it amazing? How could such a vast army, marching along, suddenly turn around and camp by the sea? Camp there. It was God who deliberately used this to entice Pharaoh to pursue the Israelites. At this moment, the Israelites indeed turned back, returned to the seaside to set up camp and wait. Then someone reported to Pharaoh, the Israelites have fled. Apparently those officers reporting to Pharaoh might also have said, the Israelites probably, maybe they're lost, set up camp by the seaside. That might also have been implied in their report. At that time, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about the Israelites. They no longer wanted the Israelites to leave Egypt. Then they said, we let the Israelites leave Egypt, no longer serving us. How could we have done such a foolish thing? They suddenly realized how foolish they'd been. Look, they can't even get through the wilderness. They can't cross the Red Sea. The Red Sea now stands as a barrier. Now the Red Sea blocks the Israelites. All we need to do is take our chariots and horses, chase after them, bring them back as captives, even kill those who oppose us, and force the captured ones back into slavery. Pharaoh made a clever calculation, saying they're blocked by the Red Sea. They can't escape from Egypt. Pharaoh thought this was the case. So he prepared his chariots and led his troops, including 600 select chariots and all the chariots of Egypt, each with its officer. At this time, our father hardened Pharaoh's heart. So Pharaoh pursued the Israelites. At that time, Israel left Egypt boldly and without fear. The Egyptians chased after them. Pharaoh's chariots, horses, horsemen, and army arrived at the sea. That is, they came upon the Israelites at the place called Pi-hahiroth, opposite Baal-zephon, the place where they set up camp. In other words, the Egyptian army finally reached the seashore and was now very close to the Israelites. Just then they saw that the Israelites were camped right there. Good, well, destroy them. At this point, they may be about 2 or 3 kilometers away from Israel. As Pharaoh's army drew near, the Israelites looked up and saw a huge, dark mass of troops charging toward them. The Egyptians, the Pharaoh's people, look, oh, Egyptians. They are rising up with cavalry and war horses. The war horses are charging toward us. At this moment, they were filled with great fear. They cried out, oh no, the Egyptian army is now only 1 kilometer away from us. What should we do? At this moment, they pleaded to the Lord. They said to Moses, were there no graves in Egypt? Why did you bring us out? To die here in the wilderness? Why have you treated us like this, bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we tell you back in Egypt, do not disturb us? Shall we serve the Egyptians? Serving the Egyptians is better than dying in this wilderness. At this moment, as the Israelites saw the Egyptian army approaching, Moses said, do not be afraid. Stand firm and see the salvation that the Lord is about to bring upon you today. You will never see the Egyptians you see today again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Be silent. This was the situation when the Israelites faced the approaching Egyptian army. They were very fearful and afraid, but Moses, on the other hand, was courageous and strong. Of course, Moses' courage and strength came from God. The Israelites did not understand God's will and lacked faith in God. So when they saw the Egyptian army, with chariots, cavalry, and war horses advancing toward them, dark and menacing, brandishing swords to kill the Israelites, they became terrified and afraid. Yet the outcome was wonderfully surprising. God parted the Red Sea, Glory be to the Father and the Lord.